Hi, welcome to Cinema Synopsis. Today I will show you a comedy, action, crime film from 2021, titled Army of Thieves. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. Sebastian is a German YouTube creator. He tells a story about a building in Munich that belonged to a respected locksmith named Hans Wagner. He was a hard-working man until his wife and son tragically died, whereupon he began work on the greatest piece of art. He made 4 safes. Legend has it that if you try to force open the locks, the contents will be incinerated. Hans built another safe and locked himself in it. People tried to liberate Hans from his self-made tomb, but his work was ingenious. The safe that Hans died in served as his tomb and was sunk into the sea with his body still inside. The 3 of the 4 safes he made, the Rheingold, the Valkyrie and the Siegfried, are rumored to still be in circulation, but their whereabouts remain a mystery. As for the 4th vault, the Götterdämmerung, no one knows what became of it. He ends his video with a request to hit the like and subscribe buttons. While the video is being uploaded, he solves a lock on his table in 8 seconds and is proud of himself. One thing he can't seem to crack is the YouTube algorithm. With that, Sebastian returns to his dull life, grabbing a coffee with a muffin, opening the bank and getting ready for work. His day usually consists of being yelled at by older people. As he tries to focus on something other than the lady in front of him, an interesting TV program pops up. He gives her the check and she leaves. On his lunch break he checks his channel. He got his first comment in a view. Sebastian is ecstatic. In the comments he is told to come to a certain place if he wants to test his skills. In the evening, he arrives to the location. He tells the big tough guy a password that was mentioned in the comments and he is let in. Sebastian is the last participant in safe cracking. He is still confused, and tries to ask a nearby competitor, but he just ignores him. The host tells everyone to start and everyone but him starts cracking the safe. The host reminds them that only 4 people will reach the next stage. He then begins and manages to make it to the 4th place. 4 contestants remain for the semifinals. The viewers place their bets and they start cracking the safe. Neo cracks the safe first and Sebastian is second. In the final, they have 3 minutes to break open the door. Neo is confident in his abilities. When the host tells them to start, Neo does, but Sebastian takes his time. He watches Neo and puts his hand on the door as if sensing the mechanics behind it. He makes small talk with Neo and with 1 minute left, he has yet to begin. In the last 30 seconds, he starts and manages to open the safe with less than a second to spare. Neo tries to jump him, but big tough guy holds him back. The crowd cheers. He notices a woman through them all, Gwendolyn. She will change Sebastian's life. Eventually he will come to learn many things about her, such as that she stole her first watch when she was 6, that she was 16 when her heart was broken, that she stole her first car, and had a red notice from Interpol when she was 17. But at this moment in the basement, he knows none of this. Later, at home, he puts his award next to his family photos. He's definitely proud that he had the chance to showcase his skills. In the morning, as he is getting his coffee, he is startled by Gwendolyn and spills it on himself. She reveals to him that she was his first commentator and viewer on his videos. He asks her who she is. Gwendolyn replies that she is the woman who will change his life forever. She has been watching him and his habits and knows that he is always alone. She begins to tell him that she has not been in the cafe for more than 7 minutes. She managed to swindle a woman's ring, someone's watch, and the man in the back corner? His gun. She just comes out and says it. She's an internationally wanted jewelry thief and she wants to recruit Sebastian. She tells him that no one knows more about Hans Wagner than he does and that's why they need him. Because of the outbreak in America, in the next 96 hours the safes will be decommissioned in Geneva. This is his chance to solve the 3 puzzle safes Hans made. Gwendolyn grabs his hand and gives him an address to go to if he decides to join them. He continues his ordinary, boring life, and at home, while watching news about America's situation, decides to do it. Sebastian visits the address and Gwen greets him. Inside, he meets Karina, who is in charge of logistics and is a master hacker. Getaway driver, Rolf. There's no one faster than him, even Nicolas Cage would have trouble keeping up. The last one is their real-life action hero Brad Cage. He watched a lot of Nicolas Cage movies when he was young. That's the whole team. Karina informs Sebastian of their plan. The Rheingold is in Paris, France, 413 million combinations. The Valkyrie is in Prague, Czech Republic, 235 billion combinations and the Siegfried is in St. Moritz, Switzerland, it has 72 trillion combinations, it is said to contain up to $100 million. All the vaults are owned by the infamous billionaire Bly Tanaka. They have no time to waste, so they head to Paris, and just as they are about to hit a credit union, Sebastian gets cold feet. They go over the plan. Sebastian goes in first and heads straight for the bathroom. Gwen follows him, takes the guard's key and asks for a safety deposit box under a fake name. Karina will enter and the cashier is the only one who can help her since no one else speaks English. At this point, Gwen slips out and picks up Sebastian and they descend into the vault. Everything went as planned and they find themselves in the vault room. The vault is called the Rheingold. Before he begins, he wastes a lot of time telling Gwen the story behind the safe. She is disinterested and just wants him to start, but he continues with the story of how the gold was obtained for the safe and starts calling it his love. He puts on a song Das Rheingold and begins. With the whirring and cranking of some machinery inside, all the locks fall into place and the vault is opened. Sebastian and Gwen are overjoyed. She tells him it's not about the money, it's about becoming legends. He almost tries to kiss her, but decides against it. Then Sebastian walks out and Gwen follows him, successfully finishing their first heist. Delacroix, an Interpol agent, has learned of the team's recent robbery. Beatrix wonders why this is important right now, when America is facing a zombie apocalypse. Screw the zombies. Surveillance cameras film the perpetrators and Interpol knows they are on the quest for all the vaults and they only have 2 chances left to catch them. The team is playing beer pong. Brad shows his dominance with a perfectly legitimate throw behind his back. Sebastian befriends Rolf over some sandwiches, and chats with Karina, who wants to make out with him, but his eyes are on Gwen. Karina tells him that Brad and Gwen are actually dating, but right now their relationship is not the best. Sebastian then visits Gwen in her room and she explains Brad's name to him. If Brad Pitt and Nick Cage had a baby, it would be named Brad Cage. He's just a narcissistic individual. Sebastian tells her a story about his childhood when he wanted a cool name like Ludwig Dieter. They talk for hours and talk more about themselves, with Gwen doing most of the talking and Sebastian just admiring her. Meanwhile, Brad is furious that his girlfriend is busy with that rat. Gwen asks him to sit next to her and tells him, after they complete their quest, she'd like to go to America, Nevada, because rumor has it that the Götterdämmerung, the 4th vault, is there. The next day the crew travels to Prague, where Delacroix is waiting for them. Brad is hostile towards Sebastian. They are at their next bank. The crew means business. Sebastian is scared, but confident he can crack Hans's safe. Sebastian poses as an accountant and announces that he is inside. With Karina's hacking, she has his fake ID scan positive. Karina guides him through the hallways until she has to cut off the comms. Unsure of what to do next, he enters a room he shouldn't have. The guards notice over the cameras that he just disappeared. He meets up with Gwen in the elevator and they descend to the vault room. As the doors open, they are greeted by 2 guards. With a few Jackie Chan moves, Gwen beats them both up with no problem. And so Sebastian begins his work on the Valkyrie. He once again tells a story about mythology surrounding it. The Interpol still haven't spotted the crew and Delacroix gets antsy and figures out they are probably already inside. When the guards figure out someone is in their system and lock all the doors, Karina realizes they are onto them. Time for Plan B. The Interpol comes into the building and it turns out they are in the wrong bank. They switch their safe with a more reputable bank. Brad goes in with his mask on, and shoots a few guards with tranquilizer darts knocking them out, while beating up the others. He launches Plan B, the robbery. Sebastian finally starts cracking. His attempt fails and the safe handles pull back and only one handle is pushed out. If he screws up again the safe is locked forever. He is having trouble, but he's making progress. Then a second handle comes out, and the third. He manages to crack the Valkyrie and open all its riches. They cheer and embrace. They almost manage to kiss, but Karina asks for status over comms. They don't have much time. Gwen and Sebastian fill up the bags and head for the exit. Brad is about to walk out when a security guard surprises him. He distracts him and jumps off a railing. He gets into a scuffle with the guard and is shot before jumping out the window. The duo manage to escape unnoticed through all the commotion. As the car starts to move, they try to jump in. Brad helps Gwen, but when Sebastian takes his hand, instead of pulling him in, he throws him out. All the members, except Brad, look distraught. The police are chasing Sebastian. He tries to steal a bike. It's embarrassing. He still manages to steal from a random passerby. I'll spare you all the bicycle acrobatics now. He manages to escape the police by riding on a narrow road and getting on a moving train. In the van, Karina tells them that Sebastian hasn't been caught yet, or at least it hasn't been announced. It turns out the real plan was to cut Sebastian loose after the final heist, but Gwen is still upset that Brad threw him out on the street like a sacrificial lamb. Rolf was even starting to like the guy. Gwen is worried about how they are going to take Siegfried on without him, but Brad tells her they have enough money to retire twice. For Gwen, it's not about the money. Brad's last-ditch effort to keep Gwen is to tell her he loves her, but she couldn't care less and gets out. Karina follows her and figures out how they can crack the next vault. Sebastian has somehow managed to get home, where the girls are waiting for him, though he doesn't notice them. After they discuss what to do, the course of action they decide on is to yell surprise, and Karina does, startling him, making him spill his hot drink on himself. Gwen says she's sorry. Yeah, and that's it. He says that it doesn't matter if he forgives her or not, they will leave and he will go back to his mundane life. Gwen gives him a whole speech about how much she needs him and that he's the only one who can crack the safe and that they are going to make history. Sebastian sits down, takes a sip of whatever he's having, agrees, and asks about the plan. Meanwhile, the Interpol agent decides to do some research on YouTube. He searches for Hans Wagner and finds Sebastian's video and quickly matches him and the robber. The interesting thing is that the video was uploaded 1 minute ago and the comment is from 2 weeks ago. Sebastian dreams of zombies. When he wakes up, they are on their way to the destination of their last quest, St. Moritz. Interpol agents patrol every corner of the last vault located in a casino. The vault is to be transferred in 2 hours. They intercept an encrypted message from the squad saying they will strike the casino at 5 a.m. It sounds too good to be true, but they wait until 5 anyway and enter the casino. There, a manager tells them that they know about the risk and have already taken action. When he asks who told them, she says Interpol informed them and the safe was taken 1.5 hours ago. It really was too good to be true. Delacroix has been played. 8 hours earlier. Karina calls the manager and tells her about the robberies and then she reschedules the safe transfer. Gwen somehow managed to sneak into a car and stay hidden, then beat up the 2 guards and left them on the road. They made sure Interpol intercepted the fake coded message. They retrieved the Siegfried from the casino and loaded it onto the truck. With Gwen and Sebastian disguised as guards. In present time, on the road, after his usual warm-up, Sebastian puts on the music and begins to tell Gwen the story of the safe, talking to the safe at the same time. Meanwhile, the police leave the casino. Brad is furious that his team betrayed him, which they did not, since they parted ways. He finds Gwen's location via Find My iPhone and Karina notices it and tries to stop them, but they drive away and the police apprehend her, but not before she manages to send Gwen her last message. Beatrix promises that she will take care of her little brother if she gives up just one piece of information, which is where they are going. She spilled the beans. Sebastian is on the 6th of 7 handles, he's cracking the safe on the go. After a few sharp turns, he slaps on the safe and the gear kicks in place. He's cracked the Siegfried. Although Brad and the cops are still on their tail. They open the safe, fill their bags and Brad is there waiting for them. From action hero to villain or just a jerk. Brad tries to shoot Sebastian several times, but Gwen has removed the firing pin. She and Brad argue. Sebastian cannot take it any longer and lunges at him, punching him. After that pitiful display, Gwen ties them to the truck and gets out with Sebastian. The police arrest Brad and Rolf. Gwen is glad that Sebastian at least tried to stand up for her. He tells her he likes her a lot, and despite the bad timing, she ends up kissing him. She likes him a lot too. With the money, they make their way to the boat. Delacroix has managed to catch up to them. So they have a standstill with guns drawn. Gwen makes a deal with Delacroix. He can take her if he lets Sebastian go. The agent agrees but Sebastian doesn't. Gwen tells him she will find him and they will solve the Götterdämmerung together, yells at him and he finally gets on the boat and leaves. When he checks his fake passport with the name Ludwig Dieter and sees that she got him a ticket to the same place she is going, he's heartbroken. Of all the people in the world, she was the only one he wanted to be with. Somehow he knew they would reunite and solve the Götterdämmerung. Sometime later. In California, a woman and a man walk into a locksmith shop and find Sebastian. They show him the blueprints of the Götterdämmerung and ask him if he can crack it. He smiles. The end. Thank you for watching. Subscribe Cinema Synopsis if you want to watch more recap videos.